Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Monday, September 26th. I'm your host, Tom Moore. The Rutgers game is in 5 days, the game against Michigan in 61 days. Today we're going to do something we haven't done for a little while, let you hear directly from the Buckeyes and also the Badgers. In the wake of Ohio State's 52-21 win over Wisconsin on Saturday night, we ended up airing some of those post-game interviews live on our Buckeye Huddle post-game show, and they're always a popular part of those shows, so we're going to share some of them here in case you didn't get a chance to watch them after the game. Before we get started, just make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just do it right now while you're thinking about it. YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. Subscribe there. It only takes a second. And then you'll be able to be a part of those pre- and post-game shows that we do this weekend. The post-game show will happen at a much more civilized hour this weekend, which should be lovely. Can't wait to have you there. Again, YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified when we go live so you don't miss any of the fun. All right, so on with the show. We are going to start today with Ryan Day. He had a lot to be happy about with Saturday night. The Buck game was, functionally over after one quarter. At that point, the Buckeyes were outgaining Wisconsin 11 yards per play to 2, leading 21-0. They had the ball in Badger territory yet again, and we're going to score like 4 plays into the second quarter. So, they were doing all of that, however, without star wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, and also without both of their starting cornerbacks. Denzel Burke and Cameron Brown both missed the game, and with Jordan Hancock still out, that left redshirt freshman J.K. Johnson and true freshman Jair Brown to start the game. So, how did Ryan Day think those guys did? And what's the latest on the corners who did have to miss the game?
Yeah, again, we're not expecting those to be long-term things, but not having those guys in there and their experience, was a concern going into the game. But Jair and JK have been practicing. They practiced really hard all spring. They practiced all preseason. They've been out there. And, we told them right before the game that everybody in the team believes in them, and we do. And they have no fear, and they went out there and played, and they did a really good job. I mean, I don't know what the film's going to show, but I know they competed. And I thought Tim Walton did a really good job getting them ready. And I'm proud of those guys to be able to win a conference game with them in there. Both really, I guess that's their first start each.
On offense, the Buckeyes kind of did things by committee. 4 different guys got between 6 and 8 targets in the passing game, and both Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams rushed for more than 100 yards. Spreading things out in the run game like that sounds like it was part of the game plan all along.
Well, I think it's just the mentality of we know how long of a season this is going to be. And when you have 2 guys that you can go back and forth, who are unselfish, who understand what it means to be a team, that's the key. If it starts to become like, what are my carries, what are my touchdowns, what are my runs, then it doesn't work. But Travion and Mayan both have been excellent. Travion's energy before the game was off the chart. You could just feel it. I mean, I felt it in warm-ups. I felt it in the locker room. I felt it coming out of the locker room. And then he ran that way. He just ran hard. He ran physical. He ran with energy. And so did Mayan. Mayan ran hard. So I think we got something good going in that room. And you saw Dallin even run at the end. I thought he was running well. But hats off to the offensive line and the tight ends. I thought they really moved the line of scrimmage today against a good defense.
Day always wants to have a balanced offense. He has thought that they got a little too pass heavy at times in the past, but he was very happy with the balance they had on Saturday night and how they were able to control the game in different ways when they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the balance was solid. We're a no-huddle team, and Wisconsin huddles a lot. So for us to kind of control the time of possession the way that we did, and I think we were up 21 points at one point. I think we had a 6 or 7 minute drive, and we kicked a field goal, but it turned into a 4-possession game, and we ate up a lot of clock in that drive. And I felt like that was a really good drive for us, even though maybe over the years, we expect to score touchdowns at a faster clip. But when you're in these types of games, you have to think that through. And I thought that was good. But I thought that the tempo and the mix of run and pass today is what we're looking for, yes.
One moment that got some attention during the game came when true freshman corner Jair Brown got called for pass interference. Day got pretty animated on the sideline in a way that he doesn't always do. He's not exactly Woody Hayes ripping up yard markers every single week. So, what got him so animated there?
Yeah, I usually don't talk about that stuff after the game, but I obviously didn't like what I saw, and I felt like that was a big play, but I also wanted Jair to know that, like, I do have your back, like, now if it was egregious. Okay, move on. But I want to defend him in that moment. This is a young kid out there in a big stage for the first time. And, I hope he felt like, his head coach was backing him up in that moment, because I think it mattered and I believe what I was fighting for.
At the end of the game on Saturday night, as fans were walking out of the stadium, I think a lot of them sort of felt like C.J. Stroud just kind of had a good game, nothing really out of the ordinary, finished with 281 yards passing, 10.4 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. There weren't any real showy long bombs or just insane throws into incredibly tight windows, really. It just kind of highlights, though, the standard that Stroud has set, that a 5-touchdown night against a defense that good kind of just feels like ho-hum another week.
Yeah, I thought he was really good, in a lot of spots. That's a very good defense, and to throw 5 touchdowns, he was really good, and we had more out there. Right? The protection broke down on 2 plays in particular that would have been huge plays if we could have executed them better. But I thought the touchdown pass to Emeka was off the charts. I thought some of the other balls were really well done. It's my fault at the end of the half. I'm going to take that. We're up. I think it was 4 scores at that point with 45 seconds to go on our inside of our own, 25. Should have just ran it 3 times, listened to the boos running off the field and moved on, but I didn't. I threw the ball. We got a pick, and then the defense did a great job in sudden change getting a stop right there. And so that's on me. And a couple calls I could have done a better job with. I thought he played good. I thought his energy was good, and throw 5 touchdown passes against Wisconsin. That's a hell of a night.
Finally from Day, toughness has been a big thing for him since he took over the head coaching job after the 2018 season, and that has only been more true this year after a couple of losses in 2021, where their toughness as a team kind of got questioned a few times. Saturday night against Wisconsin, they again looked like bullies on both sides of the ball against what should have been, a pretty solid team known for its toughness historically as well. So does Day think that they've sort of proven themselves as far as toughness goes now?
I think we've shown what we can do. Now, whether we do it every week, that's on us. But I think you can see what this team's made of. And I think we've shown that in first 4 games, what we can do, what we're capable of. The big challenge, as we all know in college football, is you have to bring it every week, and that's the competitive stamina we've been talking about. Every single week you got to bring it. So as good as this feels, and as much as we want to celebrate this, we can't spend too much time patting ourselves on the back after this thing, which is hard because this is one heck of a win for us. To play like we did tonight, that was a lot of work, and I'm very, very proud of our team. I'm proud of our players. Proud of the way the defense came in, some of the way the guys stepped up. There's a lot of good to go around in this game. But the tough thing is, you don't have too much time to talk about that. You got to be on to the next team, and but we'll try to enjoy this the best we can tonight and a little bit tomorrow.
One thing that we do on that Buckeye Huddle post-game show every week is to try and give you just a little sense of what the opposing head coach thought of the game as well. Sometimes the timing doesn't work out and the Buckeyes come out for interviews before the other team does, and so we don't get to do it. We just give you the Buckeyes. But Saturday night, you got to hear a little from Wisconsin's Paul Chryst as well. And he had some interesting things to say on a few fronts. One of them was just the Badgers' just total lack of a pass rush. C.J. Stroud was not sacked. Wisconsin recorded no tackles for loss, and honestly, Stroud was barely even pressured. There was no Badger credited with a QB hurry even in the box score. So what did Ohio State do from his perspective to make that happen?
I think they did a good job of, they've their rhythm was they were on. There wasn't much, and there was a couple times we got some pressure, and he actually made some good plays out of it. But I think that they did a good job of getting the ball out and really not a ton of time for the rush to get there.
And finally, one play that stuck out to me and probably to other math and strategy inclined folks came late in the first quarter. The Buckeyes had scored touchdowns on their first 3 drives, were leading at 21-0. Wisconsin had it a 4th and 1 at their own 44. That is a situation where the numbers say you should go for it pretty much always, and especially when your defense is giving up 11.6 yards per play and 7.0 points per drive, as they were at that point in the game. Chryst, however, decided to punt. Ohio State got the ball, went 67 yards in 8 plays to the surprise of absolutely no one to make it 28-0 and basically seal the game for good. So when a coach makes a decision like that, that maybe goes against what the numbers and the strategy say that you should have done, I think it's kind of interesting to hear his rationale behind that decision. So what was the thinking behind Chryst' decision to punt the ball there?
Yeah, you absolutely, you're thinking about it. And at that point, you're also thinking about we've already given the defense. I was thinking, I should say, we've already given them a short field, and and felt like we got a chance to, we've been pretty good in that situation, pin him down, and can we get a good field position for us? And didn't feel like that was the point in the game where we're certainly didn't love the way we started, but I felt like, we're gonna be all right. We can pin him down there and got a chance to stop him. Didn't, right?
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. As I mentioned off the top of the show, those interviews are always part of our post-game coverage, our Buckeye Huddle post-game coverage. That's live every week after the Ohio State game. As soon as that Ohio State game goes final, the clock hits 0, we go on. It is generally 2.5 hours. There may be some big games coming up that, I don't know, maybe we'll go longer than that. As long as there are people there watching and there's stuff to talk about, we will keep talking about it. That is a really, really fun, always a really, really fun show. We get a lot of members of our team involved. Over the weeks, we've had Mark Givler, Tony Gerdeman, Kevin Noon, myself, Justin Whitlatch, Devin Radcliffe. We have had Alex Gleitman and Ross Fulton on our pregame shows as well. Those are just a really, really fun way to highlight all the different folks we have at Buckeye Huddle and bring you the X's and O's, the recruiting coverage, the game coverage, all the stuff that you've come to expect from BuckeyeHuddle.com. So make sure you are signed up to be subscribed to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. Again, ring that bell so you get notified when we go live. And finally, if you're enjoying that coverage, enjoying that postgame coverage, enjoying these podcasts where you hear from all these folks, consider signing up at BuckeyeHuddle.com. All those guys are there. It is a really fun community, very active. Lots of folks on that board. If you've got X's and O's questions, those guys are there. If you have recruiting questions, those guys are there. If you have team questions, Tony and Kevin and I are there. It is all in one place. It is all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Sign up today. That'll do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.